How's it going, everyone? This is Adam from Slurv, Ship My Money on DraftKings, and I'll be breaking down today's pitching slate for you for May 13th. This video will probably be a little bit shorter than usual because I'm also going to be filling in for Max on the GPP video. So I'm going to go through my cash pitchers and explain them, and then I'm going to mention my GPP pitchers and stacks, but I'm going to leave the more detailed explanation for the GPP video just because I think it makes more sense to do it that way, I think. So, starting with the cash pitchers, my favorite pitcher on the board is Chris Sale at 12,300 on DraftKings, 12,000 on FanDuel. He's a minus 145 favorite in a game with a low total. He's just the best pitcher on the board. He's facing a Yankees team who they don't strike out a lot, but they don't hit lefties particularly well. They're pretty league average, 19% strikeout rate, 322 WOBA, 103 WRC plus. Chris Sale's been really good this year. He's due for a little bit of regression, looking at his Scherer compared to his ERA, but he's still, really good and just the safest option on the board. I don't think he's got a ton of strikeout upside in this matchup, but I think his floor is just really high. And on a slate where there's no one even close to as safe as he is, he's someone I'm definitely just going to lock in my cash games and go from there. On DraftKings, obviously, you'll need to find one other pitcher, but for FanDuel, I would just start there and work around that. Looking at the starting pitcher 2 options for DraftKings, for me, it's between Edison Volquez at 8,000 and Nate Karns at 8,200. Volquez is a minus 175 favorite against the Braves, but I still prefer Karns just because Volquez has been really shaky this year. It's really inconsistent. It's kind of been like every other start he's good. And since he's priced about the same as Karns, I just think Karns is safer because he has more strikeout upside. Like, the Angels don't strike out a lot at all, only about 15% of the time. But the Braves aren't a really high strikeout team either. And so far this year, Volquez strikes out about 19% of batters he faces, whereas Karns strikes out about 26%. His strikeout numbers are actually up this year because of a change in his, pitch selection. So I think Karns just has the higher floor and has higher upside than Volquez does. So he's going to be my second starting pitcher in cash games. Moving to GPPs, there are 5 guys that I like in tournaments today, kind of at different price ranges. I plan on fading Chris Sale today, which I'll explain more in the GPP video. But starting at the top of the price range, I like Rich Hill at 9,700 on DraftKings, facing Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has hit lefties well, but Rich Hill's been really good dating back to last year, and I think he matches up well with Tampa. Moving down a little bit, I think Stephen Wright matches up well with the Astros. He's already had success against them this year. He's priced a little high, especially on DraftKings at 9,100, but I think that's a good matchup. Vegas doesn't like it too much. The Astros are projected to score 4.1 runs, but for a GPP play, I think he should be pretty low owned at that price. A little bit lower than that, I'm really big on Chris Tillman this year, really until he proved me wrong. He's priced at 7,900 on DraftKings, and he's, I think, just got pretty good strikeout upside in this matchup with the Tigers. Like, obviously it didn't work out yesterday with Ubaldo, but I'm a lot more confident in Tillman's numbers than I am in Ubaldo's in this matchup. And then a couple of riskier options that I'm looking at are Lance McCullers going up against Boston, only on DraftKings where he's priced at 6,900. And the reason is just that it's a really risky matchup, and it's not something that I'm super comfortable with, but his price is just too low for his upside. He threw 75 pitches. I think it was 75 pitches in his last minor league rehab start. So even if you assume he's going to be, kind of on a pitch count, he should still be able to throw between 90 and 100 pitches, in this game against Boston. And I think that he could easily pay off that price tag and let you pay off for some bats. And then if you really want a punt pitcher, I don't mind going all the way down to Scherer on Milwaukee at 4,700 on DraftKings. Like, I'm not going to go there on FanDuel where you only need one pitcher. But on DraftKings where you need 2 pitchers, I really don't mind that punt. He's made 2 starts this year. He's been just kind of like average in both of them. 6 innings in both. He threw over 90 pitches in his last start. And I think he's got decent upside in this matchup with the Padres if you decide to punt pitcher, which I'll get into a little bit more again in the GPP video. Moving on to stacks that I like, the Coors game, obviously, the Mets are playing in Coors, so I'm interested in the Mets and I'm interested in the Rockies. But there are two pretty good pitchers going in that game who I think you can make a good case on this slate with a lot of other good hitting environments to just fade Coors or have minimal exposure to Coors and go elsewhere. So if we're not looking at the Mets or the Rockies, then I'm interested mainly in the Orioles, the Brewers, the Reds, and the Giants, not necessarily in that order, but they just all have things going for them that I like today and that I think it'll be good to have exposure to. So that's it for this video. I know it was brief and shorter than usual, but check out the GPP video and I'll go into more detail on my GPP plays. Also later, just make sure you stop into the Slurve chat. My thoughts on pitchers, tend to change as lineups come out and as I work on constructing my lineups. So you can kind of get more updated opinions once I have more information. Good luck today, guys.